Hi, my name is Stephanie Falck, and I'm a research technician for the USDA Agricultural Research Service at the Eastern Oregon Ag Research Center, and I'm here to present an Eastern Oregon Ag Minute. If you have been around many horse owners, you know that they all have their opinions on how horses should be fed. This week I will be discussing some common myths that are often heard about feeding horses. Myth number 1 is that corn, oats, and other grains are hot feeds. There are several different interpretations of this. Some people claim that these feeds make their horses hot or hyper. While grains will raise the blood sugar of the horse, there has not been any study that definitively proves that grain makes horses hyper. Usually there is a behavioral problem responsible for making the horse act hot. In addition, horses being fed high amounts of grain are often very active performance horses, and fit horses naturally have more energy. The second part to this myth is that you should feed your horse corn in the winter to keep them warm. This simply isn't the case. Feeding roughages, such as hay, will provide more heat to the horse than any grain will because of the heat produced from the fermentation of the hay. In fact, feeding 5 pounds of extra hay has been shown to increase the horse's core body temperature by over 1 degree Fahrenheit for almost 4 hours. This week I am discussing common myths heard about feeding horses. Today's myth is that too much protein in a horse's diet causes health problems. A lot of times this myth also involves the use of alfalfa in horse diets. Some people will tell you that too much protein, or alfalfa, is bad for the kidneys. This has never been proven. Extra protein can be used for energy, and the remaining protein is broken down and excreted in the urine. So while horses on high protein diets may urinate often, this is not doing any damage to their kidneys. It just makes for a messier stall to clean. You may also hear that too much protein or alfalfa can cause allergies, bumps on the skin, etc. This too has never been proven. Horses don't need a lot of protein, but the extra is simply excreted with no problem. Too much protein is also tied in with yesterday's myth. You will hear that too much protein will make a horse hot. Also, this is not true. It's not metabolically efficient, and it's a waste of money to feed too much protein, but it's not a problem for a healthy horse. There are some horses with liver and kidney issues or particular allergies that are exceptions to this myth, but for the most part, extra protein is not a problem in horse diets. This week I am discussing common myths heard about feeding horses. Many horse owners avoid feeding pelleted or cubed feeds because they have heard that these feeds can cause horses to choke. Choke is an obstruction of the horse's esophagus, preventing food and saliva from reaching the stomach. As a result, horses with choke will often be seen with food and saliva coming out their nostrils. There simply is no scientific evidence to support the claim that these feeds cause choke, as long as the horse is a normal eater. If they take big mouthfuls and swallow without chewing, then yes, the horse may choke. But this is related to the way he eats, not what he is eating. When feeding pellets, it's a good idea to make sure that the horse's teeth are in good shape so that they can chew properly, and to introduce the pellets slowly so that the horse can adapt. You can also add water or oil to the pellets to make them a bit softer. Feeding from containers on the ground can also help, since this puts their neck in a normal eating position. To slow down a fast eater, you can feed in large, shallow pans so that the feed is in a thin layer. That way the horse can't get a big mouthful. You can also put large rocks in the feed pan so that the horse has to pick around them to eat. This week I am discussing common myths heard about feeding horses. Often you will see your horse chewing on things that horses normally do not eat. Horses may chew other horses' tails and manes, eat dirt or manure, chew fence boards, or other random objects. Some people may claim that this is because your horse is lacking something in their diet. However, your horse is probably just bored and amusing himself by giving his owner something else to worry about. With the exception of salt, horses and other animals do not have nutritional wisdom, meaning that they do not have cravings for particular minerals when they are lacking in the body. In studies with research ponies that were deficient in calcium, the ponies did not develop a liking for supplements with calcium in them. This is why you cannot provide different buckets of individual minerals and expect the horses to eat the correct balance of each one. Often the strange eating behaviors are based on boredom. Horses are developed to spend most of their day foraging. Locked in a corral or stall, they often find other ways to occupy their time. The best thing to do is provide a lower quality grass hay that they can eat as often and as much as they like, to give them something to do throughout the day in between their usual feedings. This week I'm discussing common myths heard about feeding horses. Often you will hear people say that they provide bran mashes to prevent colic in their horses. They will tell you that the additional water and fiber will make impaction colic less likely to occur. However, there is no evidence to support this theory. While a warm bran mash is a nice treat for your horse, they should be fed bran no more than once a week because the excess phosphorus found in the bran will unbalance the diet. Another common myth is that horses must be fed crimped oats because they cannot digest whole oats. While crimping oats makes them about 6% more digestible to the horse, the increase in the cost paid for the crimping is not worth the increase in the digestibility. And seeing the hulls in the horse manure is perfectly normal. It does not mean that your horse is not digesting his feed. Lastly, you'll hear about people feeding corn oil to prevent colic in their horses. While corn oil is great for providing a nice shine to the coat and adding weight to hard keepers, it does not prevent colic by lubricating the digestive tract. The oil is highly digestible and does not make it to the hindgut to provide any lubrication. Thanks for listening to this week's Eastern Oregon Ag Minutes.